call this one the island pattern because it's in the style of the is somewhere over the rainbow type of sound. Sounds something like this. So let's go ahead and learn the chords for this song. We're going to start by taking our middle finger, placing it on the 3rd fret of the A string for a C chord. Now normally we use our ring finger here, but this time we're going to use our middle finger. And the reason is, the next chord's an E minor. And the way that we play an E minor is you're going to take this middle finger and move it up to the 3rd fret of the E string. Then you're going to place your index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and your ring finger on the 4th fret of the C string. So it looks something like this. That relationship between the C and the E minor is made much easier by this finger only needing to move up one string, as opposed to using your ring finger here and then having to jump all the way up. So that's why we're playing the C chord, in this case, that way. So we play that E minor chord next. And after the E minor, we're going to be going to an F chord. Now, the relationship here is actually a little easier than it seems. If you remove your ring finger, and you take these two fingers and you essentially move them up and over, you can see that the relationship is pretty similar between the E minor and the F. So you want to work on stripping away that ring finger and then moving these two fingers so that your middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string and your index finger is on the 1st fret of the E string. And that's your F chord. Now the next chord that we're going to play in this is going to be a C chord. But the trick with this C chord is we're actually going to use our ring finger. I know I just said use the middle finger on a C, but that was when we were going to an E minor, not coming from an F. In this case, you see that these two fingers are engaged while this one is actually free. I'm going to just stick it down here to the 3rd fret of the A string. I'm going to remove my other two fingers, and you can see that my C chord is much easier to transition to because of that. Now from here I go back to the F, so right back to where I came. So the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and the index finger on the 1st fret of the E. And then from here I'm going to go to a G chord. This is a little tricky of a transition. What I like to do is think about a point of kind of reference. And my point of reference right here is going to be my index finger. It's going to move from the 1st fret here on the E string to the 2nd fret here on the C. So you'll notice that my other finger, my middle finger, will come off as I'm making this motion. And that middle finger is going to jump down to the 2nd fret of the A string. And what you naturally want to see happen is my hand angle goes from this sort of straight up and down feel to being slanted so that my fingernails are kind of slanted towards my right shoulder. This helps make the fingering more articulate. So we're going from here on the F, then that index finger is jumping to the 2 on the C, middle finger going to the 2 on the A, and the ring finger on the 3 of the E. Now from this, we go back to the C chord and it all restarts. So with this C chord, you're just going to take off your index and ring fingers and slide your middle finger up 1 fret. And that's how it all restarts. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rhythm now. For this, we're going to start by just playing the C chord that's used at the start and just focus on getting all of these motions really comfortable. So the first motion is just the single note strum just on the G string, followed by a miss. Makes it pretty simple because all that we have to worry about is hitting that G with our thumb and bringing our hand back up. So let's go ahead and try that. G, miss. Now the next motion is going to be a down strum, followed by an up strum, then a chunk, then an up, then a down, then an up. So let's go ahead and try this all together. Nice slow speed, just with the C chord for now. G, miss, down, up, chunk, up, down, up. G, miss, down, up, chunk, up, down, up. Now let's go ahead and try it with the chords changing. So we're going G, miss, down, up, chunk, up, down, up, 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 back to the C. So now let's go ahead and try playing this pattern in time so that you can start to get the feel with the chord progression. And that's the island pattern. What's cool about this one though, is you don't just have to use it for when you're wanting a Hawaiian vibe. It works really well with a lot of different styles of music and a lot of sounds. And sometimes it's kind of cool to take some classic rock hit and island it up just a little bit. Thank you so much for attending today's workshop. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you learned something involving how to strum an ukulele and at least learned a different way to relate to some rhythm concepts. Be sure to check out the link below to see where you can purchase all 4 of the modules in this Strum course. And I can't wait to see you in the courses to come.